One horror film I was really excited for the release of this year was Iron Lung. I've been hyped for this movie since Markiplier announced that he was working on it a while after he played the game, which it was a unique indie horror game with an incredibly tense atmosphere and a world that oozed so much hopelessness and mystery surrounding the nature of the game's events, such as the quiet rapture and the blood moons the game centers around. I'm getting ahead of myself here, but many of you probably already watched the film earlier this year and are watching this video to hear myself express how I feel about the movie. Well, I'm here to also say I also got to play the game after watching the movie. And I will be talking about both the movie and the game in this video. So yeah, grab yourself some coffee or tea like myself, since I'm making this video while sick. But yeah, cozy up and let's dive into the blood ocean and talk about Iron Lung. The game Iron Lung released back on March 2nd, 2022. It was an interesting time. COVID had ended not too long ago. I can't believe how long it's been, but the release of the game was met with a lot of YouTubers playing it, which happens to a lot of interesting indie horror games. However, Iron Lung had something about it that just captured the imaginations of a lot of people. The game starts with one of the most grim and ominous opening segments in an indie horror game. It's simple, yet so effective.
Beginning your descent. Cruising depth in roughly 40 seconds. Stand by. I'm seeing some voltage irregularities in the instruments, so keep an eye out for sparks or flames or anything like that. Approaching maximum depth. The hole's feeling it, but it's still holding strong. Closing porthole shielding. We're starting to lose radio signal. You'll be at cruise depth soon, so return and be careful. You're on your own. Good.
The game immediately throws you into a blood ocean on a desolate moon amidst a dying universe, a grim, hopeless universe. The game is so overbearing with dread, and the mysteries outside your submarine only adds to the dread overflowing the cup. Just like my cup earlier when trying to make tea, because I accidentally got too small of a cup and I had prior tea already in it. Anyways, the atmosphere is incredible. Not to mention the sound design, which might be the absolute best aspect about this game's tension. As you navigate your sub blindly with only a map, you'll hear the liquid rush alongside your sub as it moves along with the distant sounds of something larger and something you desperately want to avoid. I just need to express again, the atmosphere is top notch. The goal of the game is to simply navigate using your map and coordinates to reach different points and capture pictures of, let's just say, strange anomalies. The camera mechanic being your only method of seeing outside of your sub is just so effective throughout the game in playing with your anxiety, but also your curiosity. You'll find skeletons, walls, more walls, and a portal? The mechanics in this game are simple, but I could definitely see a lot of people finding this game repetitive or awkward. But personally, I found it to be a very unique experience, and I definitely was on the edge of my seat the whole time. Damn near fell off, though, at this little moment. This game has really effective scares despite it being a relatively short experience. And also, it does something super impressive despite being short, and that's making you feel like there is a larger story and world beyond the walls of the sub you're trapped in. It truly feels like you're an ant amongst the dying stars in the quiet rapture. And also, the whole concept of the quiet rapture is absolutely terrifying, with all the stars in the solar system dying with nothing but their dying light left. The fact that there's so much mystery surrounding the remnants of humanity, left along with the appearance of these moons with giant wounds forming blood oceans. The whole experience and narrative is extremely captivating. Spoiler if you haven't played the game, but it ends with a jump scare from a giant fish like creature that has been stalking you throughout the game. Then you are left with a final grim message regarding the state of the Iron Lung universe. And wow, it just sends chills down your spine. The expedition ultimately raised more questions than answers. Satellite images showed pieces of the SM-13 scattered all over the bottom of the trench, as though it had been torn apart by some huge beast. The wreckage cannot be reached at this time. No photographs have been recovered. The stars shine pale as bones. The moon is a lifeless corpse, its ocean a gaping wound. The universe, what's left of it, is dying, but somewhere in the void, there must be hope. I watched the Iron Lung movie a day after it initially came out. I remember being so excited, and personally, I was not disappointed. If anything, I was surprised with the directions the movie took outside of the game. The Iron Lung movie is definitely effective in being faithful to the game, but Markiplier took a lot of liberties in adding new ideas or expanding on existing ones told through lore in the game. There is heavy emphasis on how humanity is trying to survive in this post-apocalyptic universe, scavenging for resources and ultimately fighting one another to try and find meaning in a dying universe. It's handled very well, and Markiplier in this movie actually has really good acting. The flow of the story and scenes really does feel like the game, because Markiplier plays the role of the convict, who is forced to scour the blood ocean for a skeleton, which then turned into a fight for survival and unveiling deeper, more disturbing details on what the blood ocean actually is. You have scenes where Markiplier is navigating, drawing on the map, just lots of really cool, slow paced scenes where he's just navigating. And I think these segments, while they're slow, really help allow the sense of time passing and the build up to the more tense scenes. Speaking of which, the monster in this movie is also very different than the game. But personally, I really like the movie's monster a lot and found the design and the scenes the monster was in extremely enthralling. Overall, I thought it was good changes all around when it came to the monster. Really liked it. I don't think the movie is particularly scary, which is all right. It's definitely very tense, though. So, overall, I don't wish to talk much more about the movie or go into deeper details, because since this is a relatively new movie, I think more people should go and see it if they haven't already. But overall, my thoughts are that I think it's an incredible adaptation. It's got an extremely grim narrative, and I think overall I liked how it goes for a more slow burn type of horror, and I think it does it extremely effectively. So yeah, this is the first time I have used a script for this kind of video. But to end it off, I want to give my final thoughts on both the movie and the game for Iron Lung. Overall, I really enjoyed my experiences with both the movie and the game. The movie so much so that I went back and watched the movie a second time in theaters about a week after I watched it initially. I'd say maybe a couple days more but I had a lot of fun watching it a second time, picking out little details I missed. And that ending as well is extraordinary. I freaking love the movie's ending so much. And my time with the game just a few hours ago, playing it for the first time, I had quite a lot of fun with it. I think overall these are great horror experiences, and it's inspiring to know this little indie game got a feature film that did so successfully. It's very inspiring, and I think both the creator David and Markiplier should be very proud, of each of the works they've created. I freaking love Iron Lung. Call me an Iron Lung fan. So yeah, I mean overall, those are my thoughts. I enjoyed it. And thank you all for hearing my thoughts, watching this video. So, yeah, appreciate it. Take care.